Welcome everyone to Caleb Watches Movies, the channel where I, Caleb, randomly select one of the many movies that I own and I watch and review them for you. And actually I'm gonna be doing that literally today, because today is the 500th episode of Caleb Watches Movies. It is the 500th movie that I reviewed on this channel, and I thought, you know what? I keep talking about how this channel is called Caleb Watches Movies, so why not today let me actually fulfill that statement and actually watch a movie. And whenever I do these anniversary shows, it's always typically something that revolves around Batman, and as you can tell from the hat that I am wearing, I'm going to be reviewing, or at least watching, Batman and Robin, a movie that has universal acclaim. You may ask yourself, why do I own a Batman and Robin hat? Well, it's just to piss off all of the Batman fans out there, because so many people have an opinion about this movie, but I remember growing up with this. Being a young kid, whenever Robin was on screen, I was totally into it because I'm a big Robin fan. Have my own Batman Forever Robin cup that I'll be drinking from during this whole watch along. So I hope everyone enjoys me and me watching this for the first time, I want to say since 2005 when Batman Begins came out, because around that time they had the 4-pack of the 90s Batman movies. Actually, these two right here were a part of it, and I remember watching it after purchasing that 4-pack, and I don't remember watching this movie ever since then, so it's been a very long time. But I do remember knowing that it was just terrible in every way, but in its terribleness, I remember really enjoying it, so let's see if it does hold up and if I still feel the same way. Here we go, Batman and Robin, let's go! I remember when this film was coming out, and all I wanted was just everything. Like, the movie is all just a big toy commercial. But I remember seeing all the advertisements, seeing this logo everywhere, and I just wanted to own everything. I think this theme is very underrated. Everyone talks about the Danny Elfman score for Batman, but I think this theme of the Schumacher Batmans has its own merits. Alicia Silverstone, oh god. I love this opening sequence. The design of this movie, from what I remember, and this logo, I actually really enjoy. I think it's really cool. Batman and Robin. Oh, the nipples. I forgot about the butt shots of the pants. I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this. I totally forgot about the armor butt scene. And you have to ask yourself, what was the concept behind a shot like that? Why did we do this? George Clooney, who you think of in real life would look like a good, like, fake Bruce Wayne, like the fake Playboy Bruce Wayne. George Clooney would be that, but in terms of like all the other stuff, you know, definitely not a Batman.
Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
And with that, we have the multiverse. And we have a whole universe that we need to go into.
Do try and bring this one back in one piece, sir.
Michael Gough as Alfred. Michael Caine is great, and I'm sure Andy Serkis is going to be just fine in the Batman film next year. But Michael Gough will always have a special place in my heart. It's like every scene in this movie is, hey, here is a new toy. Hey, here is something else that you need to buy. Yes, the soap opera to the side. Oh, I am feeling pain.
Batman.
Skype, before Skype was a thing.
He's frozen the Antiquities wing. He's turned the security guards into blocks of ice. He's calling himself Mr. Freeze.
Here's the rap sheet of who this Mr. Freeze guy is. I've been commenting about the design of Batman and everything in here. The Batmobile, though, I hate. I just hate this Batmobile. Because it doesn't have a cover. If it rains, he gets wet. That's not cool. The man gets top billing over Batman in this movie.
The Iceman
There's the first ice pun.
I'm afraid that my condition has left me cold to your pleas of mercy.
I remember thinking that he was so scary as a kid, but now as an adult, he's just so campy.
In this universe, there's
I remember
only
this.
one absolute.
Everything freezes.
I freeze. I'm Batman.
We have all of these former Batman movies where Batman is like, I'm Batman, I'm vengeance. And this reading of that line, hey, Freeze, I'm Batman. So bad. But boom. Yeah. Not the vase. You see all just the wires everywhere in the ceiling. If you have a short attention span, this opening scene I think is for you. I remember watching this as a kid, and this opening scene I just dug everything about it. It's so fast. It's so much going on. Look at all that fake ice. Dumb cops, security guards. Can never do anything right. I feel like this movie, yes, it is terrible by all means, but I think it's the cool thing to hate on this movie. I love how they just have built-in skates to their boots already. Like, he didn't even know he was going up against Mr. Freeze until he was in his car driving outside. But I guess he's Batman. Batman has everything in his belt and in his suit, so I love how he's nearsighted. He's like, oh, I have to wait for the cue of the comedy. Haha, funny.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Get it? Ice, freeze, facts, history. Kind of like the opening of Temple of Doom, right? Weren't they going after the diamonds? Wires! That car is kind of sick. You don't want that car to, like, come up from behind you on the street. Just you and I defying gravity. I love that jump. The wire work is so bad. Remember, I had the comic book adaptation of this movie, and I read it before seeing it, because my parents didn't take us to the movies to see this one. We bought it on VHS. I think my parents knew that it was bad. They took me to see Batman Forever, but not Batman and Robin. That part always confused me as a kid. Like, he's right there. Why don't you just freeze him?
At 30,000 feet, your heart will freeze and beat no more.
Or you could just freeze him. Freeze well. Hi. Well, like I said, this whole opening, as a kid, I loved. It was just so much fun. There was so much action. Well, see, they even have their own little heat laser gun. Look at all these Dutch angles. See, to me, they were flying as a kid. Again, it was just really cool. I don't get why you would need the boards, though. Does that help your falling? Like, does it help you fall in a more straight line? I'm watching this in 4K. I've only been used to just standard definition with the previous versions that I've owned. The conversion actually looks pretty cool. This is the first instance of all of the ropes. There's so many different ropes in this movie. I remember that.
Your emotions make you weak. That's why this day's mine. I'll kill you next time.
Just kill him now, Freeze. Villains in the 90s. So stupid. I was worried. I remember seeing a preview of Robin getting frozen on Good Morning America when I was a kid, and I got worried. I thought he was gonna die. Oh, there's a lizard there. I never knew that. 4K, baby.
My experiment to make the Dendronium orchid and the South American rattlesnake have failed again.
Even as a kid, after that whole opening sequence and then moving here to the introduction or the creation of Poison Ivy, I knew that something was off. And the pacing of this whole movie just totally, completely stops. Because from here on out, I was really bored. Until all the fight scenes with Mr. Freeze. I know people give Uma Thurman so much crap for her performance in this movie, but when you're an actor, you just do what you're told. She just makes choices, and it's up to the director to say, no, too much, or make a different one. Oh yes, Bane is in this movie. Glover has done so much for DC. He did this, he was in Shazam, he was on Smallville, he was the voice of the Riddler.
What the hell is going on? That's not me. That looks ridiculous. I can at least form sentences. Why would they make that choice? That makes no sense. I'm an intelligent assassin. I form a revolt against this movie. Bane!
Bane might be making other appearances during this review. So disappointing, because he's such a smart, intelligent person in the comics, in the history. I'm afraid you'll have to die. All of these 90s Batman movies have the same formula where there's an opening battle scene, and then we go right into the next villain or double villain that's being created for the film. Like I said, George Clooney is a good Bruce Wayne, like the playboy aspect of him. But the seriousness, the Batman side of George Clooney's Batman is definitely not to par.
How are we supposed to work together if you won't trust me?
Yeah. How, Bruce?
How indeed?
See? You know, of all the 90s Batman, now I'm thinking about it, I mean, their relationship, Clooney and Goff here, I think it's fantastic. There's some very heartfelt scenes from what I remember in this movie, and this is the start of one of them.
I shan't be here forever.
He has that grandfather-like air about him. George Clooney, to be that young, upcoming actor, I know he was big on ER, but trying to break into films, I mean, who wouldn't take on the role of Batman? It was a proven success. Too bad he's in this movie. I like these little asides that we get in here. Like, yeah, Goff has always been there. Alfred has always been there for Bruce.
Flawless super soldier out to you tomorrow by overnight mail.
I used to think that you would just, like, ship him in a box. As a kid when I heard that line, I remember that. I love how Glover is just there like, wow, she's sprung up from the ground. Which is, you know, what you do. I don't care.
With venom.
I love how the writers connect everything. See, the venom that makes Bane Bane, well, that'll be the poison that Poison Ivy has in her lips. See, it all makes sense. It's all connected.
Because it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature.
She's not wrong. So far, I'm realizing how close this is to the 60s Batman TV series. Mr. White Christmas, I'm Mr. Snow. I haven't seen that animated film at all, and I only know this song from this movie. Come on, sing, damn it.
One more giant diamond of this size, and my freezing engine will be complete.
And the science behind that, we don't focus on that. It's just diamonds will do it. It really sucks because Mr. Freeze is one of the best Batman villains. Has such a great history that just to put him here in this movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's just divvying out all of these ice puns, is just so upsetting. He deserves a much better due than what he has. Maybe in the next The Batman trilogy that Matt Reeves is doing, maybe we'll see Mr. Freeze like the actual serious Mr. Freeze character. Oh no.
Must have dozed off. My sincerest apologies.
Well, there's no apology necessary, Alfred. It's the first time it's happened in 30 years.
It's a nice little dig from Bruce, like, hey, manservant, you were supposed to answer the door. I mean, it's the first time in 30 years.
Uncle Alfred. Uncle Alfred.
Oh my god, she is so bad in this movie. Uncle Alfred, oh my god, Uncle Alfred. She's from England. Doesn't sound like it. I just realized this is the first time that we've ever seen Alfred's living quarters in the whole Wayne mansion. It's got some nice digs. She's so flat in all of her line delivery. I love you so much. She gonna go out and score some drugs? Hate Gossip Gertie in these Schumacher movies. They are awful. Well, she is awful, I should say. Look at 1997 computer technology. Remember in the last movie when Nicole Kidman and Bruce Wayne were getting together? Like, that was the whole storyline? I love how when sequels, like the original movie, they spend a lot of time on the couple getting together and deciding to be together, and then when the sequel comes out, because either the actress doesn't decide to re-sign or come back, then they're like, well, you're dating someone else now. You know, that whole movie was a miss.
But no diesel fuel for heat, no coolants to preserve food. Millions of people would die of cold and hunger alone.
Unless you can find some alternate resources, like what we're trying to do now. Bruce. Conservative. You can tell that these actors who are playing the villains are big fans of the 60s TV show. Their energy is way up and they are campy as hell. That's really what these 90 films are, in my opinion. It's a mixture, especially the Schumacher films, it's a mixture of the 1966 Batman TV series and the Tim Burton style of Batman. It's kind of just like a melding together. Batman and Robin are coming to a gala event, because that's what vigilantes do.
And then Gotham will be mine for the greening.
Tell us your plan in the middle of everything so that everyone could hear it and not stop you. Bruce Wayne diamonds. Yes. A plan is hatching. This movie has the exact same formula as Batman Forever. I mean, this movie went into production like right after Batman Forever came out, which is why Val Kilmer wasn't able to return, because he was doing The Saint. So, I mean, they just cranked out a script as quickly as possible with all of this extra, like, toy promotion and stuff. It's the same formula. So here, we are at the point where we are at the circus in Batman Forever. So here's the fun little colorful scenery. I hate Gossip Gertie. They're betting on what they want the women to wear. See, this is where OnlyFans got its start, is from this movie and stuff like that. I would be lying if I told you I didn't have a crush on her in 1997. I totally did. I just love that reaction. Just, you know, the pheromones are in the air, and just give us your reaction, George. Well, that scene looks good in 4K. See, with Batman Forever, which is out of the whole 90s original four films of Batman, Batman Forever is my favorite. Because it felt to me that there was some depth there, and hopefully we would get the Schumacher cut, and they release it, hopefully in the future at some point. But here, everything is just surface, and everything is just hollow, and there is no depth to anything. There's no character depth to anything. It's just all surface goals and ambitions. I want plants to rule. I want my own signal in the sky. I love how Robin is just not fighting it at all. He's like, yep, let's do this.
Forget the geriatric bat. Come, join me. My garden needs tending.
I think that was a cunnilingus joke, and I am all about it. This movie's more raunchy than what I remember, actually.
7 minutes.
Oh, God. The back credit card is fantastic. My day job, I work at a credit union, and I know the process of what you have to go through to get a credit card. So for Batman to go to a bank to provide a Batman social security number and have his credit pulled as Batman to get a Batman credit card it's an amazing feat. No!
Get the gun!
Because I'm nothing without it. What does Tony Stark say? If you're nothing without the gun, then you shouldn't have it. Even seeing that as a kid, I knew that Robin did that just to impress Poison Ivy. See, I can do flips and stuff. Take me home. Why do Batman and Robin always go after the henchmen, and then the police go after Mr. Freeze? Should be the other way around. Oh, because that's how physics and gravity works. Wasn't he only on screen for like 20 minutes in this movie, but yet gets top billing and gets paid the most? To be that powerful in Hollywood.
That's my exit cue. Thanks.
He has no lines of character at all. It's all just one-liners and puns. We have no sense of who this character is, who this villain is.
Cool party.
The movie is definitely not as bad as everyone says it is. I think it just is popular to hate on this thing because it's so easy to.
Commissioner, you have 11 minutes to thaw these people.
Wow, thanks, Batman.
Just met one of the most sinister men in Gotham.
This Commissioner Gordon sucks. He was just told you have 11 minutes to thaw these people or they die, and he's just standing there. Huh? You just met one of the most sinister men in Gotham. I remember seeing this scene in commercials for like Batman and Robin Pop-Tarts, for the action figures, because you had to have all of these vehicles. The marketing for this movie, I think, is terrific too. The design, the marketing, it works. The story doesn't. Batmobile doesn't make sense either, because what if he's apprehending someone? There's only one seat in the car. He shot himself all the way to the other roof. I don't know where he was planning on going after that, though. Yeah, see? There's no covering over him, so he could get frozen like that. It's a little tribute back to Batman Returns, but I think it's too late. This movie's too far gone. How did that car get unfrozen? I just realized that. What the hell? And also, you apprehended Mr. Freeze. Where did you put him in the Batmobile? There's no other seat. I think this is the most that Michael Goff ever got to do as Alfred, now that I think about it. So he was always just in like a scene or two in the first three, but here he's actually part of the story. That's actually kind of nice.
Alfred, am I pig-headed? Is it always my way or the highway?
Why, yes, actually.
Yeah, this is your project.
Death and chance stole your parents. But rather than become a victim, you have done everything in your power to control the fates. For what is Batman, if not an effort to master the chaos that sweeps our world? an attempt to control death itself.
But I can't, can I?
None of us can.
That is actually a very deep insight that was a little rare in the 90s Batman films. I think there are moments like those, like the scenes with Alfred and Bruce in this movie. They are pretty emotionally powerful. They just get drowned out by everything else because they were trying to make this a toy commercial. They're wheeling him in a literal refrigerator. I forgot Jessie the Body Ventura.
Hey, McMahon, all the pukesters out there. Look at Randy Savage. He's the ultimate champion. The pukester, the Hulkster, he's nothing. He's a coward. McMahon.
Was he governor of Minnesota at this time? I think he was. I think I also enjoyed watching this movie as a kid just because of how colorful it was. Batman and Batman Returns was that Tim Burton style, so everything is black and all these dark colors and white. But with the Schumacher films, there's greens, there's red, there's neon colors. Actually, in this scene, there's a bunch of neon makeup and stuff. I had the cassette tape of the soundtrack of this movie because that's all I had was a cassette tape player as a kid. And I remember seeing this scene and thinking that these were the Smashing Pumpkins. That's my illiteracy when it comes to music.
Hello, my little pretty.
Hello yourself.
You look good enough to eat.
That I am.
Another cunnilingus joke. The sound effects are great. The weir, weir. And everyone who made this movie apologizes for it. Even Schumacher was in an interview and he said, I didn't mean to make it bad, but if I offended you, I am so sorry. You watch all the behind the scenes stuff on that DVD. There's Chris O'Donnell. He's there and he's like, yeah, this was not good. This was not fun. They kept saying, hey, before they yelled action, they said, remember, this is a comic book. Because back then, comic book films were not taken seriously. Not until technically Blade the next year in 1998, but X-Men in 2000, and then Spider-Man in 2002. That's really when superhero films were like, oh, hey, these could be, just like typical stories and actually have depth to them. Dutch angle. I'm a villain, and there's another villain here in Gotham, so we must team up, because that hasn't happened in any Batman film previously. I love that plant just went, ah. That plant has a voice.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
What's with her voice? I don't think that's really Julie's voice, the actress who's playing her.
I know you're a dedicated bachelor. I know you've had your wild nights.
Someone is ADRing over her. You'll make someone a good husband one day. Do you think about it, Brucey? No, you thinking about poison ivy. Probably some cunnilingus. Review is just going to be cunnilingus heavy, which I am okay with. Infrared scanning.
Hey, banker, how much coin to play?
$2.50.
$2.50? It's not a lot. Like, why is this scene here? Like, this whole motorcycle race scene. It's just there to provide action and to show that Barbara can ride a motorcycle. I love how Gotham is so neon-y. Like, there's neon colors everywhere. It's like the mayor, whoever was voted mayor at the time, wanted to just do a huge makeover. And it's like, I want everything neon, everybody! Oh, look how bad that is. Oh, God. What I'm confused about is that the race, they were going on the bridge. But the bridge wasn't finished. So where is the actual course of the race? How do these people not know where the race track is? That's not fair.
Alfred has supported me my whole life, and I'm going to pay him back. I'm going to take him away from this dismal life of servitude.
Right, but he chose that. It wasn't like he was, like, kidnapped and shoved into this life of servitude. He chose to do that.
Alfred's not sick. He's dying.
Is that how you tell people? When you find out, like, you have a terminal illness, like, you say, I'm dying. Is that how you just come out and say it? There's really no best way to say it. A master sculptor. He's actually pretty damn good. Look at that. Now that's a very iconic Mr. Freeze image. Him with the little, glass doll of his wife, just remembering her. That's from the animated series, I think. So you come into an insane asylum dressed like that, and the guards, everyone is like, yeah, sure, walk on in, you're fine.
We give you life, and we can take it away just as easily.
It's very true. Poison Ivy is a very feminist character. She does have some good points in here. The dialogue is crap, but she does have good points. I remember seeing that scene and freaking out because it's like, oh my god, it's the Riddler. It's the Riddler costume and Two-Face, and it's cool.
A laundry service that delivers. Wow.
Yeah. Oh god. Always winterize your pipes. You know, the location of Arkham Asylum is actually pretty smart in here. Because being on the edge of the cliff, that's the only way you could go, is to dive down into the river. It's just that everyone survives.
My only regret is that I was never able to be out there with you.
Aww.
Well, not all heroes wear masks.
It's a touching moment, and then it just gets cut off with action scenes. Ugh. That was such a good moment. I do like that aspect of this Alfred in these movies, is that he's like totally behind this whole Batman project and wants to be out there with them. Whereas if you go to the Dark Knight trilogy, Michael Caine's Alfred, he's there, to support Bruce, but doesn't want this thing to continue because it's going to officially end him. And who knows what Andy Serkis is doing. I think in the trailers it sounds he's more on the Michael Caine route. But I like that about Michael Goff's Alfred, how he's like, yeah, let's do this. And I wish I could be out there and have my own costume. I'll say it again, that design of this Robin outfit, I just love everything, nipples included. I know everyone's talking about, oh, these are anatomically correct, and they did the nipples. It's a style choice, though. That's the style here. But if they ever made a Funko Pop or a statue of this Robin outfit, I am all over that. McGregor syndrome, that's not an actual disease, right? I don't think it is. I smell her. My lungs! Ah! I feel them freeze! Ah! My lungs! I want to know the science behind the diamonds causing to power his freezing suit and his freeze gun. What is the science behind that? Of course, I'm asking, what's the science behind that? And we have characters like this. A muscular, muscle, steroid-driven Bane character. And a lady who communicates with plants. But it's the science of the diamonds and the freeze gun that I want to know about. You know what? I just realized that this is the first instance of Batman and Bane on-screen fighting. And they're also on, a railing. Where Bane and Batman are fighting on a railing bridge thing, which is exactly what happened in The Dark Knight Rises. See, Dark Knight Rises just totally ripped off Batman and Robin.
Rubber suit that puts fire in a girl's lips.
Ooh, an anatomically correct rubber suit.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's why every Poison Ivy action figure comes complete with him.
See? It's a toy commercial. And you know what? That line is incorrect, because I had a Poison Ivy action figure. It did not come with Bane. I did not have that action figure growing up. God, I did have everything from this movie, though. I had almost every character except Bane. I had the Bat Hammer, and I had the Bat Blade. I had the Redbird vehicle. It was just everything about Batman and Robin I needed. And I think one Christmas... that was basically what my parents did, was that they got me all that stuff. Yeah, Gordon, your cops are idiots. Don't they know by now not to send the cops after Mr. Freeze? Because he will just kick their ass. Schwarzenegger being campy in this movie, she gives him a run for his money. I think she's even more campier than Schwarzenegger, Uma Thurman is. Dick. Stop thinking with your penis.
What happened? How'd they get away?
Your cops are idiots. That's why.
Who needs a frigid wife anyway?
I don't know, Mr. Freeze. I love all these icicles. These icicle props in here are just things that you could find at the store around Christmas time. Just typical front lawn Christmas decorations.
Batman deactivated her. She's
Batman deactivated her. That's an interesting line. No, Batman killed her, Batman murdered her, Batman deactivated her. And here's proof. A jewel. Ah. The plan hatches. First, Gotham. And then the world! The plan just doesn't make sense, though. If the world is gonna freeze, wouldn't that just render, like, all plants on the planet dead? It would kill them all? And wouldn't that, like, freeze the ground so hard that you couldn't plant any new plant life? I don't understand the pairing of these two villains and their plan together. But plot and reasons, and we need to go into just the whole history of who Batman is. So let's just pluck all the villains, the most popular ones that we haven't used yet, out of there. So, yeah.
I want a Robin signal in the sky, all right? I'm tired of living in your shadow. All that ends right now.
Chris O'Donnell's career never recovered from this movie. I feel like maybe he was in like another movie right after this, but other than that, nothing. And then I think he got the CSI Los Angeles or one of those cop shows. So he finally started reemerging again, but his career was definitely derailed. And I'm shocked George Clooney's wasn't derailed completely after this. Please, never ever open it. Translation, I know you are going to open it. Ugh. I hate Gossip Gertie. I love this extra. He is so into this telescope. Look at him. He's like, whoa, this is amazing.
Where does that big old bat light come from?
Can you not tell where the light... You just follow the light and the light source. Ooh, I smell her.
You're way too old for me.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. I want to kiss you. I could do it.
First, I will turn Gotham into an icy graveyard. Then, I will pull Batman's heart from his body and feel it freeze in my hands.
He just looked at the camera during that whole monologue. As if he totally broke the fourth wall. He Deadpooled that shit and was like, here is my evil plan. I love how the bat signal was unplugged and damaged, but yet it's still on. I'm a computer whiz. See, I'm wearing glasses. I'm smart. I can do computers. Look at all these innovative passwords that I'm entering in. But this was 1997, and the idea of creating a secure password definitely was not created back then.
I spent my entire life trying to beat Baghdad. Everything I've done, everything I'm capable of doing. But I can't save you.
Victory comes in defending what we know is right. While we still live.
God, there are some great scenes in this movie. There really are. This interaction, that is the relationship between Alfred and Bruce. Alfred is Bruce's dad.
I love you, old man.
And I love you too.
I don't think that's ever been said before this and since in a Batman film. The love that these two have for each other. And you definitely see it in other films. Like, you don't need to come out and say it, but just come out and say it. And you have nice, powerful scenes like that, but then we got to get right into more action. We could have lingered on that more. We had more dialogue, because that scene was great. So I love how that picture, we just saw it, it didn't have the inscription on it. And then she entered in Margaret, and now we saw it again, and there is Love Peg. I love the continuity here. Great script supervising. Fantastic. The telescope reflecting crystals, because crystals help telescopes work.
No matter what they tell you, Mr. Bane, it is the size of your gun that counts. Grr.
And there's a dick joke. We've had cunnilingus, we've had dick jokes. This movie is very horny. I wonder where the Batmobile went. Maybe he has a little garage underneath that. I don't know. Sorry about the door. Look at that ice quality. It's like saran wrap.
Yes, it's a bomb, you stupid idiot. You don't need to keep saying it's a bomb. Just plant the damn bomb, you stupid idiot. No wonder it took me so long to recover from this guy.
Tonight, hell freezes over. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, the security alert lasers. Yes. Wait a minute, how did she get there? In Batman Forever, the entrance was over there. There was a staircase. How did she get there? Things I accepted as a kid.
As such, I programmed my brain algorithms into the Bat computer and created a virtual simulation.
Brain algorithms importing into a computer. Okay. Ooh, changing! Bat heels. And you gotta have the butt shot. And the bat, breasts. There you go. I hated that they never gave her the cowl, though. Hate that they just gave her the Robin mask that her hair could flow. Annoyed the crap out of me as a kid, and annoys the crap out of me now. Wow, these are a lot of plants. I think these are too many plants. And I love how all these plants have voices. Because when they close, it was like, ha, ha, ha.
Hi there.
I've used that line on my wife a couple of times. I don't think it's ever worked, but I've tried using it. Hey there.
One kiss, my love. Full hug.
Do it. Do it. Well, shit.
My vines have a crush on you.
That was very Hocus Pocus-like. I put a spell on you. Wires. I do love seeing, a female superhero finally. Because up to this point, the only one that we had was Supergirl, and that was not a good movie. Not that this is a good movie, but it's nice seeing that. Look at that shot. They were shooting it, and then they just reversed it. I remember seeing that as a kid, and it just annoyed me then. Like, what was that? You just turned it in reverse. I was reading that this film wrapped filming like 3 weeks ahead of schedule. And you see something like that, and you go, you could have taken that extra 3 weeks. You could have dove it in, done some reshoots or something. You're just cranking this out to start selling some toys again.
Curses!
That's a 60s line if I've ever heard it. Curses! And there it is again. They played it before, they played it forward, and then reversed it, and then they reshot it again.
Bruce, it's me, Barbara.
We know. And I think it's at around this point, where me as a kid, I'm just kind of checked out already. Like, yes, it's the big gun climax, but really it's the opening for me, and then it's just downhill from there. I also love in this part of the movie, his mouth glows blue, and it never did that before. I don't know if this is like extra freeze power that he has. Maybe he ingested some crystals himself because that gives you freezing powers. I don't know. This backdrop looks very reminiscent of the Tim Burton Gotham from Batman Returns. Haha, freezing with the telescoping crystals. I had all of these vehicles. The Bat Hammer, because it skis. Because you see, Batman got a new suit at the end of Batman Forever. So if we're sticking with the formula, he needs to have a new suit right here at the climax of this movie. Now, the new suit, this one here that you see, they never explain it in the movie, at least not to my knowledge. But in the comics, the comic adaptation of this movie, they had a moment where Mr. Freeze shoots Batman with his freeze gun, but because those suits are silver, those are all heated parts. So he's being shot with the freeze gun, but he's not freezing, because he's all covered in hot spots. So that's the reason why they had this new design, but I'm pretty sure they never explain it. And that's why he's able to deflect it. I mean, I don't know the science of deflecting a freeze gun beam like that, but, whatever. And now starts the time of so many jump hooks and ropes. It's constant in this climax. I have a cable line that I'm going to shoot. Endless supply of lines in my utility belt. And then here, more ropes. And then these two have ropes. Haha. That's been way more than 11 minutes. And did you just see the plasticness of that ice cube move.
If we could relay the sunlight.
From the other side of the equator.
It'll take the satellites about a minute to realign.
I realized when I did my James Bond ranking video a couple of months ago that when I was talking about Die Another Day, the 2002 James Bond Pierce Brosnan film, that the climax of that movie is the Batman and Robin climax here. They gave James Bond the Batman and Robin climax. It's hilarious. This was my go-to cup when I was a kid, was Robin from Batman Forever. And I believe these were McDonald's? Yeah, McDonald's. Love it, because it had the Batmobile on the back. I just loved Robin.
Tonight's forecast, a freeze is coming.
Oh, we're falling. You know, because we don't have endless ropes in our utility belt. And it's also the climax of Batman Forever. So let's just do that whole thing again. I forgot about the scientists in this climax and how annoying they are. It's just one of those days. I think I read that the George Clooney bat suit was like the lightest weight bat suit out of all of them. And you can definitely tell and believe it in this movie because it just doesn't feel real at all. Doesn't feel like it would save you as a Cape Crusader.
Dirty fighter! Dirty fighter!
Dirty fighter, dirty fighter? What the hell does that mean? You ever seen that episode of Seinfeld where they talk about shrinkage? There's another example of that. I think he doesn't mask his voice at all. He's just, I'm George Clooney, I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman. Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, they disguised their voices. Christian Bale, of course, did, and then Ben Affleck had the voice modulator. And now even Robert Pattinson is changing his voice in the trailers that we've seen so far. But George Clooney, this is like, you know, hold on, you guys. And then this is the climax of Batman Forever. The destroying of Nigma's palace or whatever. And then Batman needs to jump down to save two other people. This is the same thing. It's just a formula, and there's no more thought given to it. It's just like, okay, here's the exact same beats as before, and let's just shoehorn and get this thing going. Need to get this thing into the theater as soon as possible.
What should we do now?
Pray.
Well, why do you need to pray? You guys have, like, 10 different miles of grappling hooks in your belt.
Grab onto my belt.
See? Grab hold of it. Bruce has got to be pissed. He's like, I just built this damn thing. Just paid to have this thing built, and now it's destroyed. Son of a bitch. No, let her do it. She's the computer grad.
Men. Everything the hard way.
It was a little unnecessary, but okay. And everyone is unfreezing. It's been way more than 11 minutes, though. I mean, come on. Look at the ice cubes are waving back and forth like that. So stupid. Oh, good. The dog actually got to go pee. Poor puppy.
Looks like it's gonna be a beautiful day.
Gonna be a beautiful day in Gotham. A beautiful day for a beauty. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine?
As I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show.
I love how the security camera that he used is the actual camera that was used to film this movie. You know.
But to give life, that's true power, a power you once had.
There's that line again of the power to give life, that is true power, and Poison Ivy said that earlier. Like, there's a lot of, like, feminist lines in here, because that is true. I mean, it's a wonderful power that a lot of women have.
Will you help me? Doctor.
Ooh, there's that dramatic ER acting where he whispered the last line. It doesn't get any easier. Will you help me, Doctor?
Take two of these. And
Called me in the morning. He's still gotta be funny. Before he was a scientist, he tried to be an improv stand-up comedian. That didn't pan out, so he decided to go to the whole scientist thing. See? That's nice. And this is the only Batman movie where Batman doesn't kill anyone. So a lot of those people out there who hated Batman v Superman and Ben Affleck Batman's killing all these people, and if that's like your standard of what makes Batman, the most comic book accurate Batman movie out there then is this movie. It's Batman and Robin. Because Batman doesn't kill anyone. He actually saves really everyone that he comes in contact with. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with reasons to explain inaccuracies in this movie, and I think I'm just going down a lost path with that, so I'm going to stop. Alfred's off work for one day, and the living room is a complete mess. Everything is fine now.
Partners?
Partners.
I remember that long take that he has here.
Partners. We're going to need a bigger cave.
Oh, God, this movie. I liked this part in Batman Forever. I know that there is an alternate take that would probably actually look better on screen, but I do like the running in front of the bat signal. Oh, that is it. I have not seen that in a very long time. And again, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. If you accept it for what it is, and for the style that it had, I think it's way more enjoyable than what a lot of people say it is. I think, it's really cool to hate on this movie, because there's so much campiness and so many things about this movie that is so annoying and so wrong. But in the overall design aspect, there are some good things in here. And the scenes between Alfred and Bruce, the touching moments when Alfred is dying, those are some really great scenes. We just don't linger on them, and they're not in here enough. We get to the Arnold Schwarzenegger campiness that is just so terrible. But that was me watching Batman and Robin. I had a great time. 500th movie review. If I was to give this score, I'd give it 2 out of 5 Blu-rays. I'm not as cruel with this movie as so many other people are, but 2 out of 5 Blu-rays for Batman and Robin I think is fair, because it reminds me of my childhood and just my overall love of Batman in the 90s and how it's continued today. But what did you think of Batman and Robin? If you've seen it before, or if you liked watching me react to it here on this channel, whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.